Get started. First thing I need to say, and I don't know if it's on the stats, but I probably need to make comment to all the people that came regardless of the weather today. Unbelievable crowd in it. And so I felt like I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about Bison Nation and showing up to a game where all four corners, everything was shut down, but I knew they'd find a way to get here, and I'm sure many of them took the back roads and stayed off the interstate. But it was fun to see that group here today, and they did a great job. It's always home field advantage when you play in the Dome, and we're excited to have 2 weeks in a row. But was kind of, game of two halves. We didn't play particular well in the first half. There were some good things. Definitely we started fast, got out, scored a couple times. Unfortunately, turnovers happened. We need to respond better. Busted coverage that gave up a touchdown that, I think our kids wish they could have back, but unfortunately you don't in college football, and you got to learn from your mistakes, and we got to do a better job with ball security. The big message of mine at halftime was we need to be better on third down defensively. I think they were, probably converting about 60% of their third down opportunities. Ball security, and we needed to finish drives. Missed a field goal, kind of some drives stalled out where we got a couple of first downs and we had a little momentum. We just weren't able to lean on their defensive line like I thought we could early. You saw a lot of hands on the hips. I saw tired players, but we weren't helping ourselves. And challenged our guys at halftime, did an outstanding job. When you can limit them to 0 points, all of a sudden we got better on third down or had greater focus. Greater detail in our work. And then I can't say enough about everybody on offense and the ability to run the football. You talk about, was it 300 and, if I can see that, I didn't bring my glasses in here. 447 yards rushing. And that was the kind of the topic of the week. You guys run the football, they stop the run. Well, something was going to have to give one way or another. And what I'm impressed with, how hard our backs run. Kobe Johnson's a load, even though he's 177 pounds. We saw that today. Our offensive line, we can play 8 or 9 guys, and we feel confident in those. Our tight ends set the edge on so many of our outside zone plays. Our fullbacks, and then at the end of the game, I saw Christian Watson. I saw Zach Mathis and Colt Jacobs. Critical blocks downfield by the perimeter Rams. And those guys are starting to take a little pride in that. And that's fun to see that, man, we're going to make a big play pop. And our kids are playing hard for one another. We do it the right way. I loved how we kept our composure all game and just continued to play hard and keep trusting in our process. With that, I'm going to turn it over to you guys, and you can go ahead and ask questions.
What did you challenge the defense at all, or how big was the Josh Hayes play to start the second half? No points allowed in the second half.
Well, it was huge. I mean, they had been hitting us on some out route concepts and some spacing, and we just decided at halftime we needed to jump back into cover two. I was frustrated with the third downs, and so were they. And so I didn't need to go in there and rant and rave by any means. We needed to address it. How can we be better? But we tried to take a little bit of pressure off our kids playing more big zone in the second half. And they hit us kind of with a high-low across the middle of the field. Josh in cover two just came downhill. Great tackle, great hit with his chest and his shoulder pads to create a short field for our offense. And then after that, we kind of got the momentum back. So that was a huge play in the game, especially knowing that they had the first series of the second half.
You had Noah Gindorf then, 3 plays later, and all he does 5 receptions this year for 5 touchdowns. So how about that?
How about it? No, is that a question or a statement?
How about Noah Gindorf just being at the right place at the right
huge
time?
Target, huge radius. I mean, he's an unbelievable big, long athlete, and he gets open, and Trey finds him, and that's what's critical. Trey knows where he wants to find, where he can see the routes develop. He can look people off, and he can make some strikes and make good throws.
This winter storm, Matt, create some problems with you at practice, preparation, all that?
Well, people asked me that before the game, and I said we did nothing different because I wasn't going to create an excuse. But we did change up our practice. On Thursday, we did about an hour-and-a-half walkthrough in the track facility. Talked to Stevie, talked to the track coaches. They were nice enough to let us have it for a while and just ourselves. If we'd have tried to go outside Thursday, 30-mile-an-hour wind, rain, if we just wanted to practice, we could go outside. But I wanted a good practice. And so we walked through for about an hour and a half, did special teams, our normal lift, came back Friday morning at 7:30 and did our spider-only practice. And I talked to the guys at Iowa because that's how they practiced every week. So I tried to reach out to some people that I have contacts with and say, do you like it or not? Our players did an unbelievable job of just handling it like professionals. They showed up. We had the music on. We tried to make sure that we were going to create some atmosphere and some excitement. Was not going to let someone sleepwalk through this practice. And our coaches do a great job of just having energy. And you guys have seen Coach Blazek. That didn't take much, but a great job to our kids. And to a group that hasn't experienced a change in schedule like that, they didn't blink. And so it worked out well. Now, I don't know. I don't think we'll ever use that schedule again if we don't have to, but, right?
Seems to me like Trey was just going up to the line, not making an adjustment, just run the play, let's go.
I think we tried to take some of the maybes out of it. We had a pretty good idea offensively of what they were going to do because they were substituting their D-line so much. Were they in 4-down quarters? Were they in their 3-down double hard, single high defense? So he knew pre-snap, just by the contour of the front, where he wanted to go with it. We tried to take some things off or call it for him so he didn't have the maybe check, maybe this play, maybe that. Let's get on the football and go and not let them give a chance to kind of see what we wanted to do and let's attack mode on offense.
Adam Cofield is kind of a steady guy who just always seems to be falling forward. What do you like about the way he performed today?
Well, he runs extremely hard and physical. Adam's done an unbelievable job, and I got to, Jim Kramer, our strength coach, did a great job working with him over the summer. His feet have improved so much. The ability to make cuts, to make people miss. He used to be just a north and south runner, and now he's making people miss in the hole, has great knee drives, not getting tackled by the shoelace tackles that we used to see. Now you got to wrap him up and secure the tackle. And Adam's he's steady. You said it exactly right. He's doing a great job, and he's big time for us in protection as well.
It doesn't matter, Hunter or Trey, who you're going to credit that fumble to, but if it is Hunter, then you've got 6 games now of Trey Lance with no turnovers. How hard are you guys going to beat if your quarterback doesn't turn over the ball?
Well, I don't think it's if you don't have turnovers at all, right? You're hard to beat. And if you can win the turnover battle, and today we probably were equal, but creating the turnover in the second half was kind of the tipping point. And so I think it proves to us from a defensive standpoint how critical they are. But we got to do a better job. And there was some other meshes I thought on some of our perimeter run game that we need to continue to rep and just make sure we're seeing the right thing.
Another thing about Adam is he's available. He's been durable. I think he played every game last year and he's played every game this year. So he's on the field.
He's a little thicker back, a little stronger, a little more stout than some of our other guys. But you're exactly right. But he's improved his agility, though. And I think, he's a solid back. Kobe had a big-time run today and showed his ability to be physical when we need him to. And he can make some outstanding cuts and get north and south. And I think he adds another dimension to our backfield. You throw Ty in there. It was good to see Dimitri Williams was dressed and felt better today. So I think we're kind of getting back to a point where we're going to feel like we have our full stable of backs again.
He's shown the ability to hit like that in practice.
We don't tackle a ton in practice, so probably he's a solid tackler. But my biggest thing is just doing it the right way and making sure we're tackling with our shoulders and our chest and keeping the head out of it.
I mean, you guys are halfway through your schedule now, 6-0. I know it's one game at a time, but you're grinding away pretty solid here to start the year.
Feel good about where we're at right now, but you know what I'm going to say. There's a reason why we got to practice on Monday. There's plenty of things. Right, Dom?
Kaiser a full-time linebacker yet?
Nope, just that people keep putting us in 10, 11 personnel. And so he goes 50-50. If there's a guy in practice that gets reps, it's at James. But James is never going to complain about it. James comes from an athletic background. Dad was a high school football coach, had 2 brothers that played at Harvard, a family of 10. He's used to competing. He probably had to compete at the dinner table growing up.
Do you have a chance to watch Carson against the Vikings tomorrow?
I can promise you this. If there's 15 TVs in our football office, all 15 will be on that game at some point. Not sure if we'll watch, but it'll be in our ears. And it was great to see him this week having the Bison shirt on in his press conference. And only Carson would do that. And pleased with all our NFL guys. They're all doing great jobs. And I don't know if you saw it just recently. Chris Board, Ravens had a picture, college graduates, Bison right there. All right, and so it's exciting to see all their successes.
You mentioned about the offensive line. What does it do when you can play 7, 8, 9 guys up front offensively?
Stay fresh. Stay fresh. And the other thing that I think sometimes we lose sight of when you play a lot of kids is the level of focus we have during the course of the week. I come to practice, and now I'm intentional about learning the scheme and making sure that I'm not going to be the guy that makes a mistake because I need to pay attention all week. My number might get called up. And so it helps us from a teaching standpoint Monday through Thursday and Monday through Friday, really.
Do you guys see any lighter boxes offensively with the development of Phoenix and Christian, or is that maybe coming down the line a little bit?
I think it's coming down the line, but I think we would have if we could have hit on that flea flicker today. I mean, that was just a little too much air on the ball. But it was good to see us pull some of those things out and try to pull people out of the core. You know, you run for 300, they're going to pack it in there. But there was a couple times today where we were in 22 personnel and they stayed in their base defense. They didn't get into the 50 lineman deal. And so you can tell that people are starting to be worried about our single receiver and the ability to be a game changer.
Is Lane Tucker kind of moving up the pecking order? I saw he got a couple of reps today.
It was more injuries. You know, Lane had dealt with a growing issue first couple weeks of the season and finally getting back to healthy, and he's just going to continue to add some depth for us. And we need all hands on deck right now.
How'd you come out of this game health-wise?
I'm not fully aware. I know Dimitri said he felt well at the end of the game. Otherwise, I don't know of anything right now that was just earth-shattering. I think Tony Pierce had a hamstring issue. I think because of the nature of the game and the quarterback, his willingness to scramble, we thought, you know what, it's not probably the game for him right now. Let's use Jake Cava from Fargo Shanley there.
What happened with Phoenix on the far sideline?
I thought it was helmet got ripped off. Looked like he got a cut on his cheek. So I think it was just a bang situation.
What made Trey so comfortable to throw that deep ball, especially early?
Well, I think he trusts his offensive line in the fact that the protection's going to be there. But our kids and Tyler Roll's done an outstanding job. If we miss on a play, we can still get first downs. We're not behind the chains. We can pick it back up. We can get a gain of 7 on the next down and make it a third and manageable. And so, you know, I continue to tell Trey, it's okay to end every series with a kick. You know, and he's trying not to force the football. He's given what defenses are giving us, and we'll keep coaching him and keep trying to expand his knowledge of our offense and try to continue to do more. But number one goal is that we just need to be effective, keep getting first downs, and do a better job in the red zone of converting into touchdowns.
I mean, it was huge coming out of halftime. We had to set the tone, so just I saw a chance to make a play, and I did.
The emphasis now on like targeting and protecting receivers. How do you make a hit like that without drawing a penalty?
You get your head out there. That's it. I made sure I put my shoulder on him.
Matt was saying maybe you changed some coverages on that. Can you describe that? It was more of a cover 2.
Yeah, it was a cover 2, just trying to show him a look, get the quarterback off of his normal reads, make him think we were in one thing, and shift to another last second.
Trey, when you get the ball back after that play with Josh, what did that do on the sideline for you guys?
A ton of energy, as you can imagine. A play like that, really, especially coming out of the half, you know, when maybe they had a little more momentum than we expected going into halftime. A play like that sets the tone, I think, for the rest of the game. Obviously, offensive line was really excited and just dominated, made plays, but a ton of energy on the sideline.
Trey, what made you so comfortable throwing the ball downfield, especially early on?
Just like what we saw, had a lot of good stuff. You know, I feel confident every week in what Coach Rowe and Coach Edward put in the game plan. So just had a lot of good stuff, a lot of open receivers, and, you know, I trust those guys. They made a lot of plays today.
Well, what changed in the second half defensively? It seemed they moved the ball better in the first half, put up 14 points, and then no points after halftime. What do you think was different?
Yeah, we just want to change up the pressures, get the quarterback moving a little bit more that we did the first couple of series that they had the ball. So just switching up the coverages and just being better in our disguises.
Adam, you finally broke a big one. Yeah, had a lot of chances. You finally popped one at the end of the game. What was that like? Talk about that a little bit.
You know, just trusting the O-line that they were, because you know, they work day in, day out to, you know, and you know, that was a play that, you know, we go on and we work on every day, and you know, the O-line just did it, and I just trusted them, and I hit the hole.
Do you have a bigger role in this offense than you maybe thought you were going to have, with you know, Dimitri's injuries kind of giving you some more chances? Talk about that a little bit.
I wouldn't say. I mean, when you get an opportunity, you better make the most of it, you know, and that's what I plan on doing.
I feel like a long time You've had a chance to get on the field and now having the kind of success you've had this year?
You know, you go through fall camp and, you know, you just keep pressing and you keep working hard. And, you know, when you, like I said before, when you get the opportunity, you make the most of it.
Josh, the winter storm, how do you think you handled all that? You guys as a team, your practice got flipped too a little bit.
Oh, I mean, I think we handled it great. You know, everything's really routine. So even with something like this, we were all ready for changes to happen, and we just acted accordingly.
What does Adam bring to the offense? To run
Physical body that also has some moves, obviously, as you can see in the open field. Talented dude, really smart dude. You know, you see we like to run our screen with him today. You know, we like the look, and he does a great job of feeling it out. You know, I think we were one guy away from making a really big play on that. But obviously a leader in that running back room and has learned from some great backs in Bruce and Lance last year, but has done a great job, I think, leading those guys, even especially young guys, getting Kobe and those guys right, whether it's pass protection or in the run game, seeing holes. He just does a great job. I think, you know, he's a great person and just a lot of fun to be around.
Trey, are you still thinking about that flea flicker to Kristen a little bit?
Yeah, I kind of threw it like a baby, so I'm a little frustrated. I didn't want to overthrow him, and yeah, I wish I could have that one back for sure.
You know, Illinois State, you and I, two pretty good defenses. Why do you think the offense has still been able to put up the points and yards it has over these last couple of conference games?
Honestly, the offensive line. I think that, you know, everything starts and finishes them. You know, you might get sick of me saying it every week, but they dominate every week. And I think in that long drive in the second half, I think everyone saw that. You know, they don't take the foot off the gas. And obviously with great backs like Adam, you know, Ty, Dimitri coming back, just making a lot of plays. And it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun to work with those guys. And obviously the offensive line takes care of business. A lot of good things happen.
Jabril, what does their quarterback, what did he bring to the table?
Yeah, he adds a different dynamic to the game, not only passing but also making plays with his feet and escaping outside the pocket and extending plays. So just we have to be better in just covering the receivers for a long period of time. But the D linemen, they did a great job of containing the quarterback.
Jabril, your thoughts on a cornerback hitting like a linebacker there?
Yeah, I've been teaching Josh Hayes a little bit of what to do. But nah, Josh, he made a great read and a great play. And then just using his shoulder and not getting a targeting call was pretty big for us.
When that happens, Jabril, can you feel the energy shift on the field that you guys are ready to go then?
Yeah, the energy definitely changes. It changes the whole basically game in the way that the energy is brought. So just Josh having that, it really helped us out in moving forward.
Trey, you know, I think teams won 27 in a row. You guys obviously don't like to talk about that. How do you stay focused when probably everyone else around the program is talking about it? I mean, how do you like block that out?
I don't think it's as hard as you think. Honestly, I've had anyone in our program talk about that, and I can promise you that not a single guy on our roster even knew that, or even, you know, that was even on their mind at all. You know, this week, or, you know, in the last 25 or whatever it is weeks. It's just not what we do here. You know, we go 1-0 every week, and I think Coach Entz does a great job of explaining that to us and making sure that's used as a point for every week.
Are you guys where you want to be at this point of the season? You're halfway through the schedule. Obviously, you're 6-0. You can't do any better than that, but do you feel like you guys are on the right track here?
Yeah, we're on the right track. We're going to keep getting better every week. Learned a lot from today. Guys made a lot of plays, but there's also a lot we left out there.
That's even better than you thought it could be, with 37 last week, 46 today.
You know, I was confident that we'd be really good. Just being able to work with these guys that, you know, a lot of people, you know, outside of our team don't see, you know, the talent they have. But guys like Adam, who have developed, you know, so much from last year to this year, and the receivers, obviously, you know, inexperienced but very talented, making a lot of plays. So I don't know if I'd say I'm surprised, but we're on the right track. Got to keep getting better.
Trey, who will you be rooting for tomorrow, the Vikings against Carson Wentz?
I'll root for Carson tomorrow. I'm not a diehard Vikings guy. I'm a Minnesota guy, but, you know, Carson, that's a little closer to home.
Josh, how about being the player of the game as far as making that play and then getting a few tackles, but just representing the group, I guess, as being the POG?
Honestly, I was surprised, but it was cool. It was nice to be able to, you know, be recognized for playing at a high level. And I mean, we go over it. We go over the stuff so many times, being able to make the plays that you're supposed to make. So it wasn't really that big of a deal, but it was nice.
Is everything going on off the field for you to have a game like this? Is it kind of overwhelming with everything swirling around for you right now?
Man, overwhelming, I don't know if that's the word, but it feels good. It feels good.